Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. Arlecchino heard her fair share of horror stories from her kids enough already. Those with horrible parents, those with none at all, those with wonderful ones who just happened to get lost or worse. It was all so painful, and yet she took time to know each and every single one. She wanted to know her kids well, to know them and what made them become who they are, and what led them into the house. But she never imagined that her lover would be having a troubled situation like that. She has dealt with them enough, and she has had some of her own, so she really did not imagine that you would have that sort of trouble. But it appeared these kinds of things just followed her wherever she went, even in her romantic life. How awful. How tedious. But she will have to deal with it, just like she has with everything else. Arlecchino, after all, would never back down from a challenge, especially not as one like this. One that involved you and your safety, and your happiness first and foremost. So, after she found out, not through you, actually, which made her very angry, but she would talk about that later. She just happened to find out in her own ways. Maybe it was unethical that she hired some people to watch over you sometimes. But it was to make sure that you were safe. After all, your involvement with her was, let's say, problematic in its own way. A lot of people did not like Arlecchino. A lot of people would like to target those who are close to her, just to get through her walls. And she would prove that to be utterly impossible. So, protecting you was part of her job, as someone who cared deeply about who she loves. Finding out all of this, though, wasn't part of the plan, but it was something that helped her get to you and be able to save you from what you were in. It was just simply terrible that you were going through all of that in the first place. And that's why she wanted to do her best to prevent this from going on any longer. And right now, she was thinking of the way she could go about it. She could be completely bold and go to your parents, deal with them personally, and then take you with her. That seemed like the way that would be easier to her and one that would relieve her of a lot of trouble. She didn't like just beating around the bush, especially in such important matters, where transparency was very, very important. She wouldn't like to be secretive about saving you. If your parents were horrible people, then she would let them find out in her own way. But she knew that was not what you would like. Instead, you would like things to go as peacefully as possible. Such was your way, and that was what she was going to do. You mattered far more than anyone else, and your desires were important to her. She was not going to ignore them out of selfishness, or out of desire in saving you in her own way, even though that's what she thought was way more correct, but what she thought and what you agreed on were two very different things. That's why right now, as you were going home, you were stopped by two of the Fatui, telling you that the knave wanted to speak with you. You were a little bit nervous about going home too late, but if Arlecchino assigned them to bring you to her, then it must have been necessary. And that's how you met. With Arlecchino looking at you like you had done something terrible, and you fidgeting nervously. Arlie, please, tell me, is there anything wrong that I did? No, I don't suppose so. But you know that you wouldn't have to keep secrets from me when it mattered, right? I do, of course. I don't think I've kept any secrets, at least not ones that matter to you. Then I suppose you have terrible judgment, Wayan. What you've kept from me is something entirely important. Something that I care about right now. And for you to decide to keep this from me, you must not know what matters to me, Wayan. Truly. Oh well, it is not truly that terrible. It was not all for waste. I found out. Arlecchino? I'm a little bit confused. What are you getting at? Do not act like a fool. I know what's going on between you and your family. You thought you could hide that for however long you wanted, and I wouldn't find out. Nothing gets past me, least of all some little lies that you would conjure up. And don't ask me how I found out. You would not like to know the answer to that. But as for what we're going to do, that will be entirely my choice. Arlecchino, you know why I didn't tell you. You know exactly why, and right now, that only proves my point. I don't want you doing anything reckless in my name. And right now, you're just going to force me away from them? They're bad. They're horrible, really, sometimes, but I still want to see them. It's not that easy. Maybe you killed your mom, but I can't just do that with my own parents. She looked at you, shocked, for a moment. But it was only for a moment. She recovered quite quickly. It's almost impressive. But then, you know just how much you hurt her with your words. Well, I see how it is. But do not refer to that person as mother. She would never be my mother in any universe. And I'm glad I got rid of her. I would do it again. Every single time I got to choose. And, for your information, she was anything but. She was simply a tool that I had to use to get to where I am right now. And I have no regrets. But apparently you seem to have your own reservations about that. You could have told me earlier, but oh well. It seems like the rumors do spread far and wide, and they made quite an impression on you. I don't blame you. Not really. But it seems like my care has been misplaced. I'm going to cool off. I don't want to see you right now, she said, leaving you. And it looked like she was going through a lot. And it hurt you deeply that you were the one who just made those thoughts come out. Things that she had been trying to avoid. She was not the most understandable person in the world, but nothing called for what you had told her right now. And you certainly needed to apologize for it. And right now, you really have to. You just don't know how long it will be until she's back. Thank you to my channel members Nahida Reinha, Yummy, and Pink. And thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.